in the previous class we have discussed about the management introduction part, right? So in that particular concept, we discussed about two different definitions. One is represented by Follett and the other definition is represented by George, right? So what is the definition of George? Can anyone answer me the question? So I will briefly introduce you about that particular concept once again. One person with the name called as Follett, he says that management is the art of getting the things done through the people, right? So through the people indicates there are two different peoples who are involved in this particular work called as management of an organization. So one person is manager and the other person is employed. Manager's role is he will be contributing towards the organization goal indirectly, whereas employees will contribute their efforts to the organization goals directly. That is what the representation which has been represented by the scientist called as Follett. Whereas the second person with the name called as George, he says that management is a continuous process which comes with four different phases. One is planning, second one is organizing, third one is actuating, and the fourth one is controlling. Using these four phases, he says that we can manage the organization in a systematic manner. And managing, not only managing, we can achieve the goal easily. And also we have discussed about the four different perspectives which we call as phases. One is management is a process, management is a discipline, management is a human activity, management is a career, right? So the next concept here which we are going to discuss here is the nature of management. So we have completed with introduction to management. The next concept here is nature of management. What this particular nature of management says. See, nature of management is a one which speaks about the environment. It speaks about the environment of a specific organization. This environment of an organization is broadly divided into 5 different perspectives. One is multidisciplinary. What is multidisciplinary? What is the difference between multidisciplinary and unidisciplinary? See, unidisciplinary speaks about a single discipline which is required for a specific organization. But organization will not run with unidisciplinary act. Why? Because it contains lot of efforts to be done in order to achieve a specific goal. So when it comes to an organization, any sort of organization, whether it is a small organization or big organization, starting from a tea stall to an large IT industry, each and every organization works with the process of multidisciplinary act only. Why? Because multidisciplinary is a one which is a combination of various department principles and concepts. It is like management will take the, for example, we have certain departments like health department, right? Then musical department, dance class department, then research departments. Like there are different types of departments which we come across in the society. So each and every department will be having their own set of principles and concepts, isn't it? So combining, like taking the required principles and concepts from each and every discipline, combining all those particular principles and concepts together and designing our own principles and concepts which is not ever used earlier and putting it into the use is called as multidisciplinary act. See, combining, first is we are going to collect the principles from certain departments, like let us say in order to, like when it comes to a college point of view, let us take an example of a college. College, it deals with studies, right? It deals with teaching profession, it deals with the studies of the students, it deals with extracurricular activities of the student, it deals with entertainment, it deals with the other activities which are most essentially needed for the students, like sports activity or dance activity or any sort of activities which we are carrying out in our colleges. So it is a combination of all the cultures. It is a combination of all the cultures. So in order to form this particular combination of cultures in a specific organization called as college, we require the principles of art, we require the principles of music, we require the principles of dance, we require the principles of teaching, we require the principles of studies, we require, collecting the principles from various disciplines and combining all those principles together and designing our own principle or designing our own set of principle and putting it into the work in our organization is called as multidisciplinary act. Understood? So multidisciplinary speaks about collecting the set of principles from various disciplines, combining those all together and designing our own principles for our specific organization and putting it into the use is called as multidisciplinary. Whereas the second point here is dynamic nature of principles. See, principles of a specific organization will not be static always. So the difference between dynamic and static is dynamic deals with changes, static deals with no changes, isn't it? Our photo is considered as dynamic or static, whereas the video dynamic in the sense the video of a particular event or a particular work changes every time, right? Whereas the photo will not change at all.
Remains constant.
It is a one. Static speaks about the constant, whereas dynamic speaks about the changes. So he says that the management says that principles will not be static always. Why? Because the principles of a specific organization may require certain changes based upon the environment of the organization. For example, let us take an example. Earlier, in the previous days, let us take an example of an IT sector called as Infosys. In the previous days, let us take Infosys was like 10 years or 15 years back. Infosys was working on the platform of C language and by taking the support of some other back-end process. Now, Infosys is working on different platforms rather than C language, right? So, as soon as the working culture changes in the organization, automatically the principles must be changed, isn't it? When you change, if you don't change the principles and if you work on the same principles, even though if the platform changes, then the organization may not lead to the maximum extent with maximum profit. Any organization that you take, that organization requires changes based upon the need of the environment of the organization. Environment, it doesn't mean that hot weather or cold weather or humidity weather. It is not like that. Environment of the organization speaks about the working culture. Working culture changes, environment changes. If the working culture changes, then the environment changes. As soon as the environment changes, the principles must be changed. So we call it as dynamic. The principles are dynamic in nature. So we have to change the principles based upon the need of the organization frequently, depending upon the environment of the organization. Then only we can achieve the goal successfully. Whereas the third point here is relative but not absolute principle. What is the meaning of relative and what is the meaning of absolute? See here, when we form the principles of the organization, we won't form the principles with one principle or two principle. It contains some minimum of something like five principles or six principles, which acts as the rules and regulations of the organization. Depending on the situation of the organization, we have to apply a same principle. We have to apply either first principle or second principle or third principle or fourth principle or fifth principle. Sometimes all, depending upon the situation of the organization, applying the appropriate principle, applying an appropriate principle for a specific work is required for the organization. If I can't, like for example, let us take an example, like I have certain principles, like in order to start up with the class, I have certain principles like the student must not talk in the middle, student must not murmur, student must not disturb, student like if the student disturbs the class, then what is the principle that I have to do? What is the principle that I can set? I can ask him to boycott the class. Second is, if the student is more attentive in the class, I can encourage them. Third one is, if the student is not able to grasp the things, whatever that I am teaching for, then I have to change them, like I can change the method from virtual mode to online mode or online mode to virtual mode. So let us say these are the three set of principles which I have. If the student disturbs me by murmuring with his friends or something else, then which principle I have to apply? Yes, which principle I can apply? Can I apply all the three?
Yes, sir.
Can I apply all the three principles? If the student
No, sir.
disturbs the class,
No, sir.
which principle I have to apply?
Based on the situation.
First principle which I have set as, if the student disturbs the class, then I have to ask him to boycott from the class, right?
Yes, sir.
So based upon the situation, the set of principle must be applied for a specific work. This is why we call principles are not absolute but relative. Therefore, based upon the related work, we have to apply a related principle to a specific work. That is what relative but not absolute speaks about. Okay, so the next concept here, next point here is, management is a science or art. What is science? What is a science? A general meaning of science. You are in computer science and engineering, and before you have studied about in your PUC you have studied PCMB also, right? You are a science student. So what is the meaning of a science? Yes? Anybody? Can you answer me the definition?
No.
Science and art. I want the definition of science. Or say me what is the definition of art? Yeah. Are you people like, don't you people have an art of what you want to become? Like some people will be interested in music, some people will be interested in drawing, some people will be interested in dancing, some people will be interested more in studies only, some people will be interested in all the activities, right?
Yes, sir.
We can't say that each and every people will be having the same art, right? My art is teaching, your art is studying. Some people's art will be music, some people's art will be something else. But we can't say that whatever that I am having as an art, the same thing will be there in others. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Art speaks about a specific nature, it speaks about the specific culture. Well,
Creativity.
speaks about what? Science speaks about what? Please speak out. Even if you are wrong, not an issue.
Creativity and our talent, sir.
Creativity and
Our talent.
our talent acts as a science.
Oh, yes, sir.
No, sir. Creativity and your talent comes under art.
So skills and
Science is study of physical world.
See, for example, let us say those who are speaking. Can I know what is your art? Can I know in which area you are interested in?
Yes, sir.
Which area you are interested in?
In studies, sports.
Any one. Sports. Let us take an example of sports. Right. So, when you are interested in sports, which sport
Yes, sir.
you are interested in?
Badminton.
Badminton. Fine. That is the art of you. That is the skill of you. Your skill is to play the badminton.
Yes.
Right? That is an art. Now, when you are in the ground,
Yes, sir.
you are playing with the opposite team.
Yes, sir.
What you are going to do? You will play. I know that. Okay, don't say that I will play.
No, sir. I am struggling to win the game.
In order to win the game, win or lose, in order to play, what you are going to do?
I am giving 100% of my strength to the play.
You will be applying certain techniques based upon the situation, right?
Yes, sir.
Based upon the movement of cock and based upon the opponent person's weakness, you will be playing.
Yes,
You will be playing according to the weakness of the opponent.
opponent.
You will be applying based upon the weakness of the opponent. You will be applying your own techniques, right?
Yes.
Applying the techniques is nothing but a science. Applying art is you will play badminton, but applying the techniques in the ground while playing with the opponent team is nothing but a science. Understood the difference between science and the art? Art speaks about the skills, whereas science speaks about the techniques which you are going to apply based upon your art. Your art is badminton, but you can't apply the techniques of cricket in that particular ground, right?
Yes, sir.
So based upon your art, you will be applying the techniques and you will be trying to play with the opponent and you will try to win the game.
Yes, sir.
That is what the difference between the science and art. So here, whether the management is science or art, this particular slash indicates or, right? So whether it is science or art, according to you.
According to me, management is both the science and art also, sir. Because we
Okay.
are applying techniques of management and it's to get the good business.
Okay, fine, good. Any other answer?
It is partially science and partially art, sir.
It is partially science and partially art. Next. I am not getting answers from the girl side. Boys are more attentive. No girls in the class.
It is both science and arts, sir.
Why?
Because first we'll gain the knowledge and then we will apply it for whatever we are trying to do to gain the success, to gain what we want to achieve.
So it is it is a complete 100% art as well as science. It is not partial art and partial science, dear friend. It is like art must be 100%. Like if you have the complete skills of management, then only you can apply techniques. If you are having partial skills of management, you can't apply techniques directly to that particular partial management. You can't apply partial techniques to it. If you apply partial techniques to it, then automatically it indicates that we are going to lose. For example, if you give me a chance to play a badminton in the court. I don't have the complete knowledge of that particular badminton, and I don't have I don't know how to utilize the situation in that particular ground. Means I am partially having the skills and I am applying partial techniques in that particular game. When I apply partial techniques and partial skills in a specific game, then can you expect that I can win?
Yes, sir.
Can we win?
No, sir. No, sir.
If I am having 100% of skills, and if I am applying 100% techniques in that particular skills for a specific game, then we can try to win. But if I don't have 100%, instead if I pass 50% of heart and 50% of science, it's completely difficult for me to win that particular game. Why? Because the opponent will be knowing that he knows that particular game only 50%. He doesn't know the complete 100%. He is not perfect in that. When it comes to know that we are not perfect in applying the techniques, and when it comes to know that he doesn't have the skills, then automatically the opponent will start playing according to my weakness. If the opponent must not play according, if the opponent is confused to play to know how to play with me, then it indicates that the manager or the player is having the complete 100% skills. That is what this art and science speaks about. So this art and science management is it is based upon two different aspects. One is art as well as science, where management is an art indicates about the management skills of a particular person or a particular manager or an employee. Each and every person must have these particular skills. Manager as well as employee. He must have the skills of management. At the same time, he must have the skills of applying the techniques which are required to complete a specific work. So we call it as management is art as well as science. Okay, so the next concept here is in nature of management is universality of management. Why we call management as universal? What is the meaning of universal? Management is an universal phenomenon. What is universal? Yes? What is universal?
Applying same principles throughout the world in any company.
Wrong. Any other?
Sir, relating to the principle, sir.
No.
To the other principle.
No. Any other answer? Even if it is wrong, not an issue. My dear students, come up. Whatever that you have in your mind, throw it out. If it is correct, fine. If it is wrong also, I will correct you.
Applying the rules according to the country basis.
Okay, next.
It is applying for all the types.
All the
Types.
All the types. Okay. Then any other answer?
Standard, sir.
Standard. What standard?
Standard rules and regulations to be followed, sir.
No, rules and regulations speaks about the principles only. Here we are not dealing with the principle. We is saying that management is universal phenomena. What is the meaning of universal? Globally acceptable. Right?
Sir.
Universal speaks about globally
Acceptable.
So why he calls management as an universal phenomena is it is the one which is required for each and every person as well as for each and every organization, irrespective of what type of organization it is required for everyone, isn't it? Don't you want management skills? Don't you require management skills in order to manage your personal life?
Required, sir.
Required, right? So how you are going to use that particular management skills in order to manage your personal life? Any answer? What type of management skills are required for us in order to manage our personal life rather than work? Work or studies, no need. Personal life, your personal.
Sir, management in time, like at what time, what we need to do, like the schedule, kind of schedule, that to be done.
Schedule is nothing but a planning. Design
Yes, sir.
schedule is nothing but a planning. It is not management. You will fix up the time, that is nothing but planning. Based upon the plan, what is the next? You will organize your resources, like for example, morning at 7 o'clock I have to get up. 7 o'clock I got up. After that, I got up from at 7 o'clock. In order to get up at 7 o'clock, I require a resource, that is nothing but alarm. I will set up an alarm. Organize. Next, brush. Next, like this. See, it speaks about the process which has to be carried out by each and every person. It is universally acceptable. Each and every person, irrespective whether they are big or small, irrespective of them, even a small kid will be having a management skills. Why? Because immediately at morning, without alarm, exactly they may wake up at the same time and they start asking for something at the same times. Like they were like at 9 o'clock they want something to eat, like biscuits or something. At 10 o'clock they want breakfast. At 12 o'clock they want something else to play. At in between that they will try to play, do some mischiefness, and that particular mischiefness also in the same time. And at 1 o'clock they will go for sleep. Immediately, as soon as the time comes, immediately that particular status or the particular process will carry out in that particular small kid also. So, this particular management is a one which is most essentially needed for each and every human being, irrespective whether they are working for an organization or for their own organization or for their personal life also. So, it is considered as an universally accepted process. And this, as I said, like as you people said, principles, applying principles and concepts globally. We are applying principles and concepts globally to all the organization, but the principles and concepts of each and every organization is completely different. Keep this in mind. We can't apply the same set of principles and concepts of RYMEC to in BITM. Even though the organization is of same type, the principles and concepts differs. And I said you the principles and concepts changes based upon the environment of the organization. So we can't say that the same principle is applied for the entire country or entire world. I can't say that this is the principle which has to be followed and this principle has to be followed by each and every country. We can't say that. Management is acceptable, but principles and concepts cannot be acceptable universally. Why? Because the principles and concepts of each and every organization is completely different. Some principles might be same, but we can't say that all the principles will be same. Like whatever the principles and concepts that has been used by RYMEC may not be used by BITM. Whatever the principles and concepts that has been used by VTU affiliated may not be used by autonomous colleges. Will you agree or not? The principles and concepts of engineering college, whether all the colleges will be having same principles and concepts?
Different.
Autonomous is having different principles and concepts. Affiliated will be having different concepts. deemed university will be having different concepts, right? So
Yes,
you principles and concepts cannot be said, can't say that those are universal. Principles and concepts are not universal. Instead, management skills are universal in nature, and the management skills, the usage of management skills by different people will be in different manner. But management must be applied for everyone, irrespective whether they are in any position. So this is what about the universality of management speaks about. Okay, understood? Nature of management, once again I repeat, it deals with multidisciplinary nature, combination of n number of taking the principles of n number of departments and combining those together and putting it into the practice. That is multidisciplinary. Second one is dynamic nature of principle. The principles are flexible. We can change the principles based upon the situation of the organization. Whereas relative but not absolute indicates that we can apply the set of principle based upon the work which is already defined and designed by the organization. Whereas management is science and art speaks about, it is both science and art, because art speaks about the skills of management, whereas science speaks about the techniques which has to be applied for managing that particular skills. Whereas universality of management speaks about management is universal in nature, but the principles and concepts are not universal, because the principles and concepts of each and every organization may differ. Understood? Understood, everyone?
yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And this is what about the nature of management. In the examination, he may ask you, define management, explain the process of nature of management as one question, or he may ask you what are the various principles which are involved in nature of management. This is one of the important questions for your main examination also. Okay, if he asks you, you have to explain the definition of management, and also you have to explain the nature of management with 5 different principles. One is multidisciplinary, basic nature of principle, dynamic nature of principle, relative but not absolute, management is science and art, university of management. So this is what about the nature of management. So the next concept here is characteristics of management. Here we have 10 different characteristics, out of which we have already came across with management is a continuous process in the previous class, isn't it? What is management is a continuous process? Continuous
Yes, sir.
speaks about, it is a process which has to be carried out continuously each and every day by taking the support of 4 different phases. One is planning, next is, please speak out.
Organizing, actuating,
and
Actuating.
controlling. These are the 4 different phases which are most essentially required for carrying out the process of management. So, management is a continuous process speaks about, it is a process which has to be carried out by each and every people as well as the manager continuously in order to complete a specific task, or in order to achieve a specific task successfully. And this particular continuous process has to be carried out by taking the support of 4 different principles or 4 different phases. One is planning, organizing, actuating and controlling. These are the 4 different phases which are most essentially needed for management in order to carry out the process continuously each and every day. Whereas the second one is management is an art and science. As I said to you in the previous slide, management is an art indicates what? Skills of management of a specific person or a manager. Management is an art indicates skills of a specific person of a particular manager, whereas science indicates the techniques which has to be adopted the techniques which has to be adopted in order to carry out that particular skills in a proper manner. Okay. So this is what about the management is an art and science. Next concept, next point here is management aims at achieving predetermined objective. What is an objective? What is the meaning of objective? Yes? Anybody have an idea about what is an objective?
Judgment, sir.
Judgment. Fine. Any other answer? Any other answer? Abhishek, Amruta, Anusha, Chandana,
No, sir.
no idea.
No, sir. No ideas.
Objective is nothing but your goal. Objective is nothing but your goal. Or we can say it as it is a one which has to be achieved by the organization. Each and every organization will be having their own objectives, which will be framed as soon as you start the organization, or once you start working in the organization based upon the project. The objective differs. So, for example, if I take an example of software company, what is the major objective of that particular company? Software company, like you have a knowledge of software companies like IT sectors. What is the major objective of a company, of a software company? What is their goal?
To build software of client's request.
To design?
To design software of client's request.
Fine, good. So this is the major objective, right, of a software company. To design and develop a software products based upon the requirement of the customers, also based upon the requirement of companies also, right? So this is the predetermined, this is the objective of a software company. So whenever we want to open whenever we start a company or whenever we start an organization, we will be defining our own objective based upon our organization, isn't it? So what is the another example is, what is an objective of a tea stall?
To prepare and sell the tea.
What is the objective of a tea stall? Whether they are going to design and develop a software?
No, sir.
What they are going to do?
They'll prepare and they'll sell it.
They will prepare and sell software, huh?
No, sir.
Huh? They will prepare and sell what?
Tea, sir.
Tea, right? So based upon the organization, the goal is different. Software, their goal is different. Tea stall, its goal is different. Supermarket, their goal will be different. Each and every organization will be having their own particular predetermined objectives. What is the difference between determined objectives and predetermined objectives? Or we can say it as predetermined and post-determined. What is the difference between predetermined and post-determined? Predetermined in the sense, before starting the work, laying down the objective or laying down the goal of the work is called as predetermined. Whereas post-determined, before starting the work, like you, I got an idea, like you came across with pre-increment and post-increment, right? In your programming languages.
Yes, sir.
What is the pre-increment?
Sir, before the
Increments before
Use and increment, right?
yes, sir.
Pre-increment speaks about what? Increment and use, or use use and increment.
Increment and
Increment and use. Post increment,
Use and increment.
use and increment. So, according to that, tell me the definition for this. Tell me the definition for predetermined. Predetermined in the sense, first, what we
Sir, in
are doing?
advance.
First
in
define the goal, then later start the work. Define the goal and later start the work. That is
Work.
what predetermined objective speaks about. So management aims at achieving predetermined objective indicates that it is a process which the organization will be laying down their objective early before starting any work. Once the objectives are designed by the organization, once the objectives are defined by the organization, those objectives has to be achieved. Those objectives has to be achieved by using the management skills of employees. By using the management skills of employees of the organization. That is what predetermined objective speaks about. First, all the organization will be having their own particular predetermined objectives. Those are designed before starting the work. Once the objectives are defined, we will start working and we will achieve the goal. That is what this particular management aims at achieving predetermined objectives speaks about. Whereas the fourth point here is management is a factor of production. See, production speaks about design and development. In order to design and develop a particular product, what is the major important thing that is required for us? If you want to design and develop a particular product, just bring back your software engineering skills back. In order to design and develop a particular product, what is the major thing that is required for us? Yes? Or let us take an example of a particular lab. What are the various things that is required for you in order to complete your lab successfully?
So first we need to design, sir.
Okay, design.
Then execute, sir.
Then,
Bring the perfect output, sir.
okay,
Debug all the errors and then produce it.
okay. All this particular step can be done only if you have what?
Systems.
Huh?
System.
Skills, sir. Idea and skills.
Next. Let us
System.
have idea and you have skills of that particular lab. You know how to write the program, you know how to debug the errors, and you know how to get the output. Fine. These are the four
Yes, sir.
important things which is required for a particular student in order to complete the lab successfully. In order to do all these four important steps which you have said me, what is the major important thing that is required for us?
Computers, sir.
Pardon?
Computers, sir.
What is that computer? Is nothing but a resource. We call it as resource. If I have skills, if I don't have resources, can I achieve that objective? You will come to the lab and we don't provide you the computers as well as the power supply. As I have computer but no power supply. If I have computer, I don't have power supply. Can you complete that particular task successfully?
Not possible, sir.
It's not possible, right? Without resources, even though if we have skilled employees, even though if we have skilled employees in the organization, if we don't have a proper resource in the organization, then it's impossible for us to achieve the goal successfully, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, this factor of production speaks about the same. Each and every enterprise or an organization must provide a proper resources which are required for a specific task. If the resources are supplied to the organization or supplied to the employees of the organization, then we can expect the work from the employees and we can expect a very good accurate result from the employees and we can expect a very good profit from the employees. So factor of production speaks about managing the resources in the organization based upon the need of the work. Based upon the need of the work and employees, if I provide all the resources to the employees and if I ask them to work, then they will work and they will complete the task successfully. Factor of production speaks about the resources which are majorly required for a specific organization. Utilizing those resources by taking the support of employee and completing the task successfully speaks about management, or management is a factor of production. Okay, so the next is management is decision making. What is decision making here? In your class, yes? Yes?
Process of making important decisions.
What is the meaning of decision?
Choosing a right path.
Choosing a specific path.
Yes, sir.
Who is going to take the decision in your class? In order to in terms of bunking the classes, today mass bunk.
Yeah.
Who is going to take the decision?
Students, sir.
We, sir.
Specifically, there will be one particular person who will be initiating this particular process, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Huh?
CR, sir.
Sneha.
Class representative, sir.
Class representative. Who is class representative of your class?
Sampath, sir.
Abhishek,
Huh?
sir.
Who?
Sampath, sir.
Sampath.
No, sir.
ಯಾರ ಹೆಸರು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರದ್ದು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅವರೇ ಕಳ್ರಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಸರು
Yes.
Fine. So decision making, let us go back to the class. Decision making. What is decision making? Decision making is the one important step in any organization. Whenever we want to take a certain decision, that particular certain decision on a specific work, then that particular decision must be correct. And decision making is one of the tasks which will be carried out by the managers of the organization. Each and every managers will be provided with some liberty in order to take up certain decisions in order to complete the task successfully. So for example, let us take an example. We have decided to like manager of a particular tea stall, let us say owner of a particular tea stall. He decided to prepare a tea. He started preparing the tea. In the middle, he faced the issue of shortage of milk. So, what is the next decision that he has to take?
Buy milk. Buy milk.
Customers are in front of us. We have taken the order. But in the middle, I found that the resource is less. So what I can do? What is the alternative decision that the tea stall person will do?
You can add water, sir.
One is buy the milk. Buying the milk in front of the customer, going outside and buying the milk from the in front of the customer is a difficult. That is one alternative that we think. Second alternative is we can pour water and prepare a tea. And third one is
Giving less quantity.
we can cancel the order saying that the resources are very less.
We'll prepare, sir.
Isn't it? So alternative decisions. We call that when the work starts, immediately in some cases, we come across with certain problems wherein those particular problems has to be sorted out. So in order to sort that particular problem, I must take some alternative decisions in such a way that the work must not stop. The work must not stop. So alternative decisions will help us to move further even if there is some sort of distractions in the middle. So this particular decisions has to be taken care by the manager of a specific team or the organizations. So if I have less resource, then make certain adjustments. If I have certain problem with the technical problem with the systems, arrange some other systems. If I have some other like alternative ways which will not distract the work of the organization has to be taken care by the decision maker who is called as a manager. Okay, so management is decision making speaks about identifying the alternative identifying and representing the alternative decisions when the work starts is one of the important step of each and every manager in the organization. That is what this particular decision making speaks about. Whereas universal application, in the previous slide we discussed, right? Universality of management. Management is universal phenomena. Similarly, management is an universal application, but the principles and concepts may not be universal. It changes depending upon the need of the organization. That is what universal application speaks about. And the next point here is management is needed at all the levels. How many levels we have in a specific organization? There are 3 different levels in a specific organization. One is low level, second one is middle level, and the third one is high level management. Sir, class sir. First, there are 3 different levels. One is low level, middle level, and high level employees. Low level employees are nothing but the lecturers like we, as well as sweepers and all those persons are comes under low level management. Whereas middle level management comes with a department HODs, and the high level management comes with management team as well as principals as well as directors of a specific organization. These are the 3 different levels which we come across in terms of an organization. This particular management skills is required for each and every level, whether they are from at low level or high level or middle level. At all the levels, these management skills are most essentially needed for each and every people of a specific organization. Whereas the next point here is management aims at maximum profit. So let us take the same example of a tea stall itself. How you can expect a maximum profit? I have opened a tea stall and I am expecting that every day I will earn something around 1000 rupees. How can you expect that 1000 rupees from the society?
Based on number of
Earn 1000 rupees from the society. Yes, can anybody answer me?
Sir, it is based on customers and based on the price they keep for a single tea.
My price is 5 rupees per tea and my expectation is 1000 rupees.
Sir, based on the quality.
Then?
Based on publicity, sir, like based on the taste and all.
Then?
Based on hygiene they maintain. Based on hygiene they...
I am having a very good name in the society and everyone knows me well. And they know that I have opened a tea stall in a specific area. Okay. And I have kept some price like saying that 5 rupees per tea and 10 rupees for coffee. And it has been published. Now,
it also depends upon the area where we kept, sir.
My tea stall is in Bangalore Road. Now.
And also it depends upon the taste and hygiene they maintain and clean they maintain.
It depends upon the cleanliness. I am maintaining the cleanliness. Next.
Yes, then we expect 1000 rupees, sir.
Pardon? We can expect.
And then we expect 1000 rupees, sir.
If I have all these things, that is more than enough.
Yes.
They will come to my shop, but I don't have I don't utilize the resources at all. Customers will come to me. But if I don't utilize the resources in a proper manner, then can I expect a maximum profit? There is a typical, I have a board, I have the resources with me like sugar, milk, tea powder or coffee powder, everything, all the resources are available to me. Customers will come, but I have not prepared a tea at all. I am not utilizing the resources at all. What customers will do?
They will go.
They'll not.
They will go. Can I expect a maximum profit?
No, sir. We have to provide
See,
supply.
if I want to access, if I want to achieve, or if I want to get a maximum profit from the society, then the utilization of the resources to be maximum. I must utilize the resources to maximum extent, and then only I can expect a maximum profit from the society. Without utilizing the resources properly, we can't expect a maximum profit. So it like one is cleanliness, all the resources are available, publicity is done, everything is done. But if I don't utilize the resources based upon the need of the customer, and if I don't provide a proper service to the customer, then we can't expect a maximum profit from the customer, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So if I want to gain the maximum profit from the customer, then I must utilize the resources based upon the need of the customer in a proper manner. Then only the organization can expect a maximum profit from the customers. Okay, so the next one is dynamic principles, which I have spoken of, dynamic nature of principle, which I have spoken with you in the previous slide in the nature of management. Dynamic principles is nothing but the principles are not static, they are dynamic in nature. Why? Because the principles changes based upon the
Situation.
of the environment of the organization. Okay, and the last one is management as a discipline, where we studied this particular word called as management as a discipline.
Multidisciplinary.
Pardon? We have came across with this particular word called as management as a discipline in the previous class, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the discipline? It speaks about principles and concepts. Discipline is the one which speaks about the principles and concepts. The principle speaks about the rules, regulations and laws of the organization, and concept speaks about the idea which has been generated for carrying out the work successfully in the organization. This is what about the management as a discipline speaks about. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
What is not louder? It indicates that you are not able to grasp the things, able to understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what about the characteristics of management. In characteristics of management, we deal with it is a continuous process. Science aims at achieving predetermined objectives. It is a factor of production. It is a decision making, universal application, needed at all the levels. There are three different levels. One is low level, middle level and high level. Keep this in your mind. In the next coming classes, I will be asking you about this in the previous next upcoming classes. We have one concept which is called as levels of management. There I will be asking you certain questions regarding this. Okay. And the next concept next is it aims at maximum profit. Resources must be utilized in order to get the maximum profit. Dynamic nature of principle speaks about principles will not be constant always. Discipline speaks about the rules and regulations as well as laws of the organization as well as the ideas generated for working in the organization. So this is what about the characteristics of management. And this is also one of the important concept of management. Explain the various characteristics of management, or we can also say these characteristics as features of management. Features of management or characteristics of management, both are same. And this you can expect this particular question for 10 marks in the main examination. Okay, if we ask you for 10 marks, you have to explain what is management first, then explain the various characteristics of management, briefly for each and every point. Each and every point. Okay, understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubts?
No, sir.
Class which I have taken till today, like based upon whether it may be introduction to management or nature of management, or it can be on characteristics of management. If you have any doubts, please clarify your doubts. I am ready to clarify your doubts. You can ask me anything. No doubts? Yeah?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So shall we move further or shall we stop?
Stop, sir.
Stop, sir. What is your
CR, sir. Sampat, sir. CR.
CR? Okay, fine. Okay, in the next class, let us discuss about the functional areas of management as well as goals of management and levels of management in the next upcoming classes. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes?
Okay, sir.
Okay, I have published the material of module 1 in the Olympus software also. You can download that particular document and you can verify that particular document as your notes or a material of module 1 introduction. I have that particular module contains all the 3 chapters, introduction to management, planning, organizing. All the 3 chapters are present in the particular notes.
Sir, it is showing that it's not published yet.
It is not published yet.
Yes, sir.